sectors rival the vibrancy of real estate. Whether it's the demand for commercial hubs or the quest for dream homes, the allure of property investment is undeniable. Now, amidst this dynamism lies a technology ripe for revolution. Enter blockchain. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Analytics Insight podcast, where we talk about the ever-evolving tech space, and I'm your host, Priya Dialani. Now, like with the finance and supply chain sectors, real estate can benefit from technology's innovations. Imagine simpler ownership, smoother transactions, and more transparent processes. The digital transformation brought by the technology has given a clear indication that it has various applications beyond cryptocurrencies and can be the right weapon to tackle the prevailing industrial challenges. So, what are these challenges and how blockchain is changing the real estate dynamics? To give more insights, we have Cody van Tonder and Klerk, founders of Inova Property. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Hi, Priya. Very good. Thank you. Glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Hi, Priya. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. It's a pleasure to have you with us on our podcast. And this is the first podcast where we have two guests giving more insights and discussing about the dynamics of technology in the real estate industry. So let's start. But, while we will be diving deeper into these insights, we would like to know first more about Inova Property. What exactly is the company? If you could give us more about its specialization, its solutions, would be great.
Absolutely, Priya. So Inova was founded in late 2022. I was actually flying into Dubai to visit some family there, coming from a project that I just finished off in the UK. And I just fell in love with Dubai, and I saw that there was a massive sort of opportunity for real estate, the efficiency, just the general landscape of it. And that's when Jason and I got together, and we had the vision of bringing my real estate experience with his blockchain experience, focusing that into Dubai and how we could streamline that in. So we specialize in making real estate investments accessible to everyone. We focus on making it secure. And that's where blockchain comes in, because blockchain and tokenization really just is the core focus of where real estate's going and what our vision is. So fractionalized investment models, basically enabling all investors of any size to participate in any kind of property transaction. So we're focusing on the high-end stuff, brings better returns, and we obviously have a great partnership as well, which is Schindler's and Schindler's X. So that's where our marketplace will be built into, as well as compliance, legals, and they handle our escrow account managing funds as well. So that's basically a quick overview of what we do and how we came to be.
Thanks, Cody. That's pretty much fantastic. And yes, I guess everybody needs real estate to be more accessible and more inclusive. And I think Inova Property plays an important role here. Now, moving there, I think Cody, you have a skill set that is deeply rooted in blockchain and real estate development, and you have been dealing with business development and establishing vital partnerships. And whereas Jason, I think you're more of a blockchain enthusiast. So, can you tell us more about yourself, the journey till date, contribution towards the company? Jason, probably you can start this one first.
Well, sure. So Cody has 10 years experience in real estate, if I remember correctly. It could be 11 now. And I have a wide background in technology, everything from web development, application development, ERP systems, customer relation management systems, etc. And since 2015, I've been heavily focused in blockchain technology. It was in 2015 that Ethereum launched their network. And this was the first because Bitcoin does not have smart contracts enabled. Ethereum was the first chain that has smart contracts enabled. So this opened up a massive new sector in blockchain technology that allows companies, investment models, etc., to be digitized. So my role in the company is mostly on the technical side. I oversee everything from internal management systems, the application and web development, working with our socials teams, various technology partners. I'm very deeply rooted on our tokenomics and white papers, which the viewers can have a look at through our links. And I also assist Cody with evolving the traditional real estate strategies into more of the digital space. And blockchain technology allows for the digital transformation of, these traditional and outdated systems, and really solves key points such as security, transparency, efficiency, liquidity. Very, very, very exciting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, Cody's role. I mean, Cody will be able to explain his role a little bit more.
Yeah. So my role's more focused, obviously, on the real estate side, hence that's being my background. So I work with our experts in Dubai as well, Veer and Sant, to formulate the best possible strategies that we can offer when we're building out our models for tokenization of the models, basically, and the approach that we take to that. So I work with the real estate partners on the ground. I work with the managers on the ground, project managers. So basically more on the sort of hard hat side of things, if you will, less on the tech side. And obviously I forge any kind of new partnerships with real estate companies, whether they're blockchain or traditional real estate, that are maybe looking to move into the blockchain space. Because it can be daunting for a lot of traditional real estate companies to, look at this space. They don't really know how it works. They don't know much about it. So that's where I really focus on, is bringing the gap, basically working with those guys and integrating them into either Inova or maybe sort of a sideline partnership with them.
Great, quite an impressive journey, both of you guys, and I think both of you have been handling the specific niches of the entire business. Where Jason, you're handling more of the technical side, overlooking tech partners. Where Cody's experience in the real estate and focus on real estate helps him thriving the business. So while we're talking about blockchain, I think the technology was initially recognized as Bitcoin's backbone, but today I think its potential now extends far beyond. If you talk about the commercial or real estate sector, blockchain-based smart contracts are changing core operations, including property transactions like purchases, sales, financing, leasing, and even management, the overall management. So, Jason, I would like to know from you, what do you think, or what are your views on the current landscape of or the integration of blockchain in real estate?
Blockchain technology is changing the real estate landscape, and very quickly. To better understand the solutions, I think we need to look at, one of the biggest problems here. In today's day and time, we've seen real estate investment become increasingly difficult for the average person to afford. I think it was a statistic I read where it said 86% of the world's population has no way to directly invest into real estate without taking on some form of debt. So we're looking at mortgages, etc., or bonds. And so blockchain technology allows us to build a model where we can take on fractionalized investment into property. Now, if you imagine somebody with $50,000, 50,000 US dollars, what can they really do today in the world in terms of property investment? Yes, they could get a small distressed apartment in a not so nice area. Doesn't matter what country you're in. Or with what we are doing, $50,000 would go a much longer way just owning a fractional part of, let's say, a luxurious villa on the Palms or in the marina in Dubai. Because you would be looking at above average rental yield. You'll be looking at above average capital appreciation in a high demand area. Your money would go a lot further. So security, transparency, and efficiency are other key points that I will discuss later on in this interview. And those are other problems that are traditionally found in the traditional real estate space. I think everybody has, when it comes to security of investment, everybody has experienced or know of somebody who has been sort of scammed or, taken advantage of by means of manipulation in real estate investments. And these are some key areas that we wish to solve using blockchain technology. So it's very exciting to see how blockchain technology is going to come and enhance the transparency of all sorts of investment. It's not even just real estate. That's just one area that we're focused in. It can come with commodities. It can come with even assets such as vehicles. I firmly believe that blockchain technology is going to increase the security and transparency for investors in all different fields in due time.
Right, yeah, definitely makes sense. And and something that really attracted me is when you spoke about Dubai's market. I think Dubai today is often referred to as a city of dreams and has captivated the imagination of real estate investors from every corner of the globe. Its more attractiveness, I think, lies in the harmonious blend of futuristic skylines, a thriving economy, and a very strategically advantageous location at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa. So Dubai's whooping rise as a global business and tourism hub has not only solidified its reputation, but also positioned it as a prime destination for real estate investment. But I think if we talk about the real estate landscape of Dubai, it's not enough to be merely aware of its tantalizing prospects. One must navigate this market with a very well thought out strategy. So, Cody, I would like to know this from you. If you could explain your three-tier strategy for short-term flips in the luxury Dubai market.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that Jason and I really honed in on when we sort of came to this vision of, how are we going to approach this was, we're not the first company to tokenize real estate. A lot of people have done it, but it's been a very standard approach to, maybe they just buy a small $300,000-$400,000 apartment and they get 10 guys, they tokenize it, and that's the approach that they take. So very vanilla, very sort of, I would say, boring almost. And that's how we kind of came up with this really unique approach to, while Inova will still have a portfolio option, which will be a hold service token, which we'll get into a bit later. The flip strategy is really something that is unique to us, really, I think, because we've taken an approach of focusing on higher end real estate, not just going for low or medium tier. We're going for high end luxury real estate, which is really fantastic because, as Jason said, you can get a lot more return from investment off the higher tier deals. And then we thought, okay, how are we going to structure this? So now we need to have a structured approach here. So we thought we're going to keep it very simple. We're going to have 3 tiers, and they are silver, gold, and then platinum. So something like our silver tier basically will be focusing on still good areas, but somewhere like Jumeirah Islands, and it'll be a specific property with maybe light to medium renovations. And then we'll be looking to obviously sort of turn that around a lot quicker, because we'll aim for, say, under 12 months. Then we've got our gold tier, which is slightly going up now. We're targeting your more higher end areas like Al Barari. So it's a very, very well-established area, very, very, very high end. And that will be something where we're going to go for more moderate, maybe heavy renovation, something that needs a lot more planning, a lot more sort of personal touch when coming into the design phase. And that obviously just increases the sort of return on investment. And then as we get to the platinum tier, that's when we're going on to the real gems, if you will, where we're looking at like Palm Jumeirah. I mean, I don't think there's anyone in the world who wouldn't want to say, you know what, look at this cool project I was invested in, even if they were invested for 1%, but they were 1% investor on a project on the Palms. I mean, that for me was just exciting. So you can imagine how we broke this up, where we sort of went, let's make this simple. We've got 3 tiers, all with a range of different sort of renovation specs, different target lays, but each still with significant capital growth as well as good ROI on it. And that's kind of the key advantage of the flipping model that we brought with the 3 tiers. I mean, ultimately, it's just an approach that we thought that would really work and work out well for us. And that's kind of a quick little dive into how we set the 3 tiers.
Right. No, I agree with you that your strategy and in terms of helping gain access to helping people to gain more access to real estate is quite impressive, I must say. And having such classification, different tiers, it kind of forms the backbone of truly helping your clients and as well as scaling your business likewise. Moving ahead, I think. Blockchain is a bit like the internet in the early 90s. It's very advanced, it's exciting, but also slightly confusing. And I think I'm the one where I feel that, okay, blockchain might be confusing for me. But does blockchain technology have the power to potentially revolutionize the real estate industry? Now, many believe that the use of this technology could transform both investing in real estate and the operation transactions associated with owning a real estate. Now, I think let's imagine a world where buying real estate, whether residential or commercial, whether for investment or personal use, is as easy as online shopping without the need for stack of documents or waiting, for hours or days for approvals. So, Cody, again, this one is for you. So, can you help us understand what are some innovations in the real estate industry in the recent years that has taken place, and how is it, transforming the way real estate transactions are conducted?
Yeah, sure. So I think how I'd like to tackle this, Priya, is, you know, listing some sort of key issues that just through my experience and journey in real estate that I've seen and sort of experienced, and then we can tackle those. And starting with, my view on real estate, and this is what led me to drive a shift into, the future which is tokenized, the future which is got blockchain at its core. And that would be, real estate is pretty complex and inefficient in the traditional sense. And this is me talking from experience. I've been in multiple real estate transactions. I've done multiple deals, whether it's flips, whether it's developments. It's a complex process. And someone who's wanting to get into real estate that has, no understanding or they've never done it before, it's a very, very daunting process. I often, through all my circles, everyone said, "Oh, I want to get into real estate." And then when they actually look at it, they say, it's actually not as easy as it looks or it sounds, That's one issue and sort of complexity and efficiency that I point out. Another thing, and Jason actually touched on this earlier, is that in traditional real estate, there's a lack of transparency involved in deals, especially if there's multiple investors on a deal. There can be a lot of things hidden in contracts. So, investors basically get the short end of the stick in most cases. Because transparency just isn't there in traditional sort of real estate deals. And obviously, another point is the high transaction costs. I just think that, getting into these deals, you've got so many fees, so many intermediaries that need to be paid, and it's expensive. And it's just not something that is affordable to someone who just wants to get into real estate. And I think, I've also seen through my time and experience in real estate, there's been a few companies that have looked to enhance the process of real estate to, go a bit more digital. And while it has improved, it hasn't really solved the core issues, which I think are those. It's the complexity, the transparency, and the high cost. And that's something that blockchain really does solve and bring to the table, is solving those problems.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think you mentioned it rightly that blockchain in the real estate can, make things more cheaper, faster, and even transparent. I think that's what the real estate, the traditional real estate industry kind of lacked, is like the more transparency. But I think with blockchain we can definitely tackle that issue. And again, you mentioned about tokenization. So just to give a brief to my listeners, by digitizing real estate assets into tokens on the blockchain, they can be traded much like cryptocurrency. So this entire process is more like tokenization, and it is making real estate investing more accessible. So instead of buying an entire property, you could buy a token representing a portion of a property, similar to buying a single share in a company. That's pretty much simple. So Jason, I would like to know from you, like I spoke about tokenization or describe what exactly the process is. If you could help us understand the benefits of crypto and tokenization in real estate.
Sure. Now this is where I come in. This is, I've got a wide range of benefits here
Right.
for you. So let's start with the investors. What can the investors expect to see from the tokenization of real estate, and, where crypto and blockchain technology comes in to make it more efficient? So fractional ownership, we have touched on this. Investors can now own a fraction of a high value property with very minimal amount. We completely eradicate the high entry barriers normally associated with real estate. So this makes it accessible to a wider range of people. Also is increased liquidity. So tokens can be traded more easily than traditional real estate, providing investors with, greater liquidity. So real estate is usually an illiquid asset where, it takes a long time to flip property. If you decide you want to sell today, you're going to go through a whole long process. However, if you just have tokens, there's always buyers available. You can just sell your tokens onto the market and liquidate your position. Diversification. So real estate tokens can be part of a diversified investment portfolio now, which reduces risk. So where I spoke about, where can a person in the traditional real estate space put $100,000, they would have to put it, $100,000 will get you one property or one decent property. Whereas now you could take $100,000 and put it across 10 different properties, where one may have higher capital appreciation than the other, thus reducing your risk. Transparency is the next point. So blockchain technology really ensures transparency in property ownership, the rental income, and all other relevant information that comes with that, where funds are going, how funds are processed, the costs that are associated with it. There is no fooling the blockchain ledger. Everything is transparent for everybody to see. Something that you will not find in a traditional sense. The only info you get is the info that they want to give you. Then accessibility for investors. So cryptocurrencies can facilitate cross-border transactions, making global real estate investment more accessible. Now we have benefits for property owners too. So some of these benefits are faster capital raising. Tokenizing a property can be a quicker way to raise capital compared to traditional financing methods. We have improved property management. So smart contracts can automate rental payments, property maintenance, and other management tasks too. Another point is increased property value. So tokenization can increase a property's value by making it more liquid and accessible to a wider investor base. The benefits for the real estate market in efficiency: smart contracts streamline transactions, reducing paperwork and closing times. This is going to be one of the most important points of utilizing blockchain technology with real estate, is reducing the paperwork one has to go through. Buying a house can be a tiresome process in today's day and time, and we want to eliminate these problems. Then market growth. Tokenization can attract new investors to the real estate market, increasing overall market activity. Now, one thing we at Inova like to talk about is the power in numbers. If you bring 100,000 people together, a small amount of people, just a section of a city, 100,000 people, $10 each, you've already got $1 million. However, how hard is it to find somebody that's just got $1 million in their pocket laying around? So this really increases the efficiency of investment into real estate. Overall, crypto and tokenization have the potential to revolutionize the real estate industry. And this is increased by efficiency, accessibility, liquidity. And that's it in a nutshell. You can already see the angle that we are taking this. And it won't only be us. This is going to be a worldwide change. We believe that real estate has become so unaffordable for almost everybody that it's going to take fractionalization of assets to really get everybody, your friends, your family, involved into real estate investment going forward.
Well, yes, definitely. And Cody also mentioned it earlier that the real estate market looks definitely very attractive, but it's very complex, very complicated. And with blockchain, I think coming into picture, it's kind of reshaping the industry by enhancing transparency, security, efficiency, and various aspects of property management, both for the investors and property owners. And thanks to tokenization, that's playing a very important role here. So I think many players are also leveraging blockchain to streamline their operations and increase liquidity, like you mentioned. mentioned, and also offer innovative investment opportunities. So it's kind of setting new standards for the future of blockchain and real estate. But since we're talking about real estate and blockchain, and Cody, you earlier mentioned about the different strategies that you have been integrating at Inova Property and helping your users and clients get more accessibility to real estate. So, how will your approach benefit the low and high wealth investors? So, probably Jason, you can get started first, and then probably Cody can give more insights too.
Sure. So Inova has built a small ecosystem. We try to make this as basic to understand as possible. So what we have here is we have Inova, the company token. Now this is a profit share token where we allow 25% of our company's profits to then go to our token holders. Then to lay out the structure, we have firstly our company token and two service tokens, which are named Flip and Hold. Our company token allows for seed into our company for 25% profit share. And of all the investment into our company token, and this is a very important point, is that 40% of investment raised will be utilized in acquiring real-world assets, so property. Now, this provides token holders with immediate yield from the rental of these properties, as well as the profits from the capital appreciation of these assets. So we see it a lot, especially within crypto companies. They raise a lot of money and it is used for application development, and it's used to build their dream. We have already built everything from our application models to business models, our service token models. And what we aim is to immediately address the return on investment for investors. So 40% of all investment raised immediately tied to property. Now you can imagine for every 1 million raised, 400,000 is going to be used in acquiring properties. Now, the rental yield in Dubai averages for long-term yields of 7 to 9% yearly, with a yearly capital appreciation uptick on average of 10 to 13% per year. So you can really see how much these investors are going to benefit from this. Then moving on to our service models, Cody will explain these models in more detail. But the profits that are gained from these models, not for the investors, but the company side of the profits, you can imagine that these profits are then further split to our company token holders. So the company token holders are not only going to yield monthly returns from the internal property portfolio, but also from our service models and also other consulting services that we will provide, bridging the gap for traditional real estate companies to now come into a world of a digitized real estate space. And yeah, Cody, I'll leave that on to you to explain the flip and the hold.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Jason. So as Jason said, a nice way that I like to always think about this is imagine you invest into a real estate company for a piece of the pie, and then we have essentially services. So the flip token and the hold token services. So let's start with the flip token. As I've said earlier, that's specifically for focusing on short-term investments. So we're raising funds. We then purchase the property, renovate the property, and then we sell that property for a profit. And then 50% of the net profits from that project go to the holders of that specific token. And this is also important to note. So we won't just have the flip token is not just a single token, it'll be a series. So let's look at it this way. In year one, we will have our first flip. And then 6 months later, we might open up 3 more flip tokens. So now we'll have 4 different projects running. Each time they complete, those profits come into the company, and then it feeds back into our token holders. So that's obviously the flip token. And then we've got our hold token, which is the longer term approach to, I would say, more vanilla sort of investment in real estate, where the process is still the same. The funds are raised. We purchase a sort of diverse bundle of properties and create a portfolio out of that. And then the holders of that whole token, which is also a series, essentially get the monthly rental income from that. And obviously Inova Property takes a portion of that, which then feeds back into our main company profit share. So when you sort of zoom out and you look at the bigger picture, imagine you invest in our company, and then, as like using Jason's example, if you have $100,000, you can invest a portion into our company, and then you can split the rest between multiple projects of hold and flip. So now you're getting a full circle of profits, not only from the individual projects, but also the sort of company's profit as well. And that's where I think it's really exciting, where we're really sort of offering a massive, diverse ecosystem, which is small and simple, but also very rewarding for everyone.
Yes, I think I found your approach pretty unique and definitely quite impressive. And as trends evolve based on changes in technology, consumer behavior, and societal factors, we might witness more developments around this space. Because not so long ago, I guess people marveled at the convenience of having a portable CD player. Today, the concept of owning music is being pushed aside by subscription services like Spotify and Apple Music. So I think in a similar vein, different technologies could disrupt the traditional real estate industry, blockchain being the one, of course, but they are making transactions more transparent, accessible, and efficient. So, Jason, this one is for you. What is your vision for the digital transformation of the real estate industry?
All right, thanks, Priya. So, well, where to begin? We have seen increasingly over the years, over the decades, since even before I was born, property becoming, more out of reach for an everyday investor. It's expensive. It's very, very expensive. Right now, let's take a quote from what happened with the World Economic Forum. I believe it was Klaus Schwab who said, the idea of the future is that everybody will own nothing and be happy. It was also the World Economic Forum that spoke of tokenization before the term tokenization was widely used, even in crypto. They saw this coming. When we look at places like America, like New York City, we see huge fund management companies like BlackRock acquiring mass amounts of real estate, both commercial and residential. They want to keep the ownership rights of this property, but they do definitely want liquidity. So they can't have all their liquidity tied up into real estate. They're going to have to tokenize this real estate and allow for investor pool to pool funds together and provide them a sort of refinance. And then in return, they benefit from, fractional rental yields, fractional capital appreciation yields, etc. So moving forward, as I look into the future, crypto is really making this a very fast-paced world when it comes to investing, finance, transactions, moving liquidity, ensuring security and transparency. So I believe that, crypto and real estate is going to be flying high and consistently growing over the years. We have already seen since last year, what was the figures again? Let me just think here. So last year, 2023, we had in the real world asset space, we had over $3 billion in the real estate asset space across the world. And as of this year, we're going over $300 billion. So you can see the growth already in a space of a year. Now, there are some, I forgot who exactly I need to quote for this, but it was a research saying that by 2030, we should be reaching over $16 trillion worth of tokenized real estate assets. So we are very much on the right route to, reaching those figures.
Well, yes, and I think when we're talking about any growing technology, it definitely goes through a hype stage. And I think with regards to blockchain and real estate, we are at that moment. I think we are in a hype stage currently. So, Cody, this one is for you. What advice would you like to give to traditional real estate investors who would be interested or who are planning to make a transition into blockchain and crypto-based investments?
Yeah, sure. So I'll add a bit of a personal touch to this as well, is I think I think you'll find a massive shift is coming because a lot of traditional real estate investors, and I know this because I've obviously dealt with them in the past, they're always looking for new ways to do the deals, to structure them, how it can benefit both sides. And I would say, like anything else, you got to educate yourself. It's a new sector. It's incorporating a lot of different things. And if you aren't careful, it's quite easy to burn your fingers. So I think, for instance, go to our website. Jason and I have written a lot of good content there, a lot of good blogs that really just break down the whole process of explaining, how this transition from traditional real estate is going to happen to tokenized real estate, how RWA, real world assets, play into this. So I would start with educate yourself. Another advice point would be research. There's a lot of companies popping up left, right, and center that are, as you said, we are in a hype phase now. So there's a lot of projects that are just, launching as a tokenization RWA project, but they haven't actually done their research. They don't know what they're doing. And it's important to find the right projects to back that have actually got long-term growth and sustainability. And that's important. So do your research. And then I'd also say diversify. That's the beautiful thing about tokenization. You don't have to put all of your eggs into one basket. Find a few projects that you like and, split it up accordingly. You can also maximize your returns that way. And then I would also say risks. Priya, risk is something that everyone has a different sort of appetite for. But just manage your risk, start off with a smaller amount. And then as you become more comfortable, especially going into this space, you can unleash more capital into it. That would be my sort of overview of advice.
Right. No, I think, I very much like your point of diversification because that's so important in today's world. Whether we're just talking about real estate investments or if you pick any other industry, I think diversification is truly important. And I think real estate is taking a big leap into a decentralized digital world with industry leaders as well as governments exploring and implementing blockchain into their applications. So we have already discussed that blockchain in real estate is delivering a new level of transparency and it's easing the overall process of transactions. And I think in the future, we might also see emerging and other technologies like big data and machine learning that can bring more revolutionary changes in the old real estate or traditional real estate processes. So while you might not be buying your next house using blockchain technology, keep an eye on this space because blockchain journey in the real estate world has just begun and it's set to be a game changer. Well, thank you so much, Jason and Cody. It was a pleasure having you with us on a podcast. And I think we explored a very different angle and understanding the role of blockchain, its applications in real estate, and what investors and property owners can gain using blockchain.
Thank you so much, Priya. It was a pleasure being here.
Yeah, pleasure being here. Fantastic. Really enjoyed that.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. So this is for our listeners. Stay tuned for upcoming podcasts, and you can view all our previous and more podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.